Good day to you all, and welcome to the Gaze Insights channel. My name is Angela, and I'm your host on She Rises, She Falls, and Rises Once Again. I'm very excited to have you here as we delve in yet another aspect of life where women go through so much. Today, we're looking at when life falls apart all at once. When this happens, nothing dramatic just occurs. Everything seems to happen, and you can't pinpoint where the starting point to our collapse began. There's a particular kind of breaking that doesn't come with loud noise, with shouting. There are no sirens, there's no announcement. There's no clear disaster that tells you this was the beginning of my collapse or fall. It's usually quieter than that. And it's the kind where nothing explodes, but everything slowly stops working. You wake up one day and you realize, what happened? My energy is gone. My motivation has disappeared. Your confidence starts to feel borrowed. You feel fragile. And even with the fragility, you look through your thoughts and you're lost because you find your confidence is completely absent. Now, nothing dramatic has happened. Yes, there are many events that occur, but you can't pinpoint a single event where all this started. And yet it's everything that culminates in one. And that is often the hardest kind of fall to explain, especially to yourself. There's what seems like a quiet collapse. When life falls apart all at once, it does not announce itself. And because it creeps in, we notice it a bit later. It's almost a lag between where we start and when we actually take note. We start missing deadlines, not because you're lazy, but because you're tired in a way that sleep cannot fix. You delay decisions, not because you don't care, but because everything feels heavy. You go quiet, not because you have nothing to say, but because you're tired of explaining. You're explaining to yourself, you're explaining to people around you who keep telling you you've changed. And the momentum disappears fast. And at some point, you realize, I used to move so easily. I used to have plans. I used to do so many things in ways that were amazing. What's gotten into me? You used to feel so sure of yourself. You had a confident walk, even on hard days. Now, even small things feel overwhelming. Simple choices take too much energy. Your confidence feels like something you used to own, right? And because there's no single dramatic reason, you begin to blame yourself. You tell yourself, I should be doing better. Or other people handle more than this. Or you even ask yourself, what's wrong with me? Now, the reason I say that it's not one particular event, when an event is in isolation, we have a tendency to manage it. But when there's a culmination of things that keep taking you down a curveball that you don't quite manage to sort out with each single event, then you'll find that you get lost in that drama. You get lost in you actually get lost in a wave of uncertainty, if I can put it that way. So the question then is, what happens? There's a truth we rarely say out loud, and when everything falls apart all at once, it's usually not a weakness. Not a weakness on your part. It's not a weakness on the things that are happening, the people around you. It's not a weakness. What happens is that you've been going through an overload, and that overload comes from too many disappointments, stacked on top of each other, too many unmet expectations, too many moments where you had to be strong, really, really strong, and yet you needed support. So losing direction is what then occurs. And when we lose direction, we lose our worth. This is one of the most painful parts of this season. It's that loss of direction. You're not sure what you want anymore. And the goals that once excited you now feel so distant or irrelevant. And those who can relate know that we always have goals, we have dreams, we get excited and come up with new plans. But when these disappear, you realize that life has changed. And you wonder what happened. At what point did this change occur? The things that you used to stand by, the decisions you used to make, all these are distant. And in that confusion, your confidence will take a hit. You don't trust your instincts the way you used to. You begin to second guess yourself. You feel unsure in rooms where you once belonged. And this is not because you suddenly became incapable. It's because clarity disappears when we are emotionally exhausted. Confidence does not vanish because you're failing. It fades because you've been carrying too much for too long without a pause. And when direction is unclear, it's tempting to rush into fixing everything at once. You want to do everything now, now, now. Now, if you decide to take that option when direction is unclear, you're going to fail. You will lead to another collapse. When you've been carrying too much for so long without a pause, you need to pause. You need to rebuild. But at this point in time, when realization sets in, we want to rebuild fast. We need to start thinking about stabilizing. Stabilizing will help you to get into that pause. And when you stabilize, you will realize that over time we make decisions when we're in a hurry to get something done. Now that the idea has come to you, we then tend to miss specific steps, and that's a mistake many strong women make in this season. So trying to rebuild immediately, getting new plans, new goals, a new version of yourself when your ground is shaky is not the first step. You need to stabilize, and I must tell you, stabilizing is not glamorous. It will not impress anyone. It does not look like progress from the outside. It's that state at which you're still on the inner, working on you. Stabilizing needs to be small, bite-sized steps. Eat properly, because when we're stressed, we don't eat properly. Learn to sleep without guilt, because the thoughts are so many and you feel that if you sleep, you're wasting more time. You need time to get through this. The problems are piling up. Learn to clear one item after another. Learn to sort out one issue after another. Learn to clean up your life one space at a time. Cancel what you cannot handle. Reduce life to what is manageable. Stabilizing is about telling your nervous system, I am safe enough to pause. And we all need to take time to pause. Not everyone knows how to meditate. Not everyone knows how to be calm. Not everyone knows how to go into silence. But we can take a pause. Listen to music, which you haven't listened to. Dance a few minutes a day won't hurt. You don't need a 5-year plan right now. You need one steady day and then another and then another. And that is the power of the first small promise. When everything feels broken, promises can feel dangerous. Big commitments will start feeling overwhelming. So don't make big promises. Make one small promise, keep it. Not to the world, not to your family, but to yourself. Tell yourself, I'm going to eat one proper meal a day. I'm going to go for a short walk. I will not speak badly to myself today. I will rest without explaining. That first small promise matters more than any grand plan. Why? Because keeping a promise to yourself, no matter how small, begins to restore trust. And trust is what confidence is built on. Not success, not applause, trust. Every small promise kept is a quiet message: I am still here. I can rely on myself. I am not broken. This is not the end. When your life falls apart all at once, it can feel like an ending. It's something fundamental has been lost. But often, this season is not the end of your story. It's the moment where a false structure finally collapses and falls away was unsustainable. What remains is what's right. So you don't need to rise dramatically. All you need to do is breathe, life. Then this is how life begins, not with force, yeah, and slowly, quietly find your footing again. I want to thank you for listening. If you feel that this message applies to you, like, share, subscribe, and join us again when we have yet another episode of She Rises, and she falls and raises it again. I look forward to being with you in the next one. Thank you.